Good morning and welcome to the Challenge Champions and Heroes National Awareness Day Summit, coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm Dr. Robin Lococo, President and founder of Challenge Champions and Heroes, an organization that looks to bring honor and recognition to the differently abled people of the world and their caregivers, the heroes. We believe that every life is valuable and created for a purpose. And we believe everyone has unique gifts and talents. And we want to show the world that even though you might have a disability, you are still able to do great things in this world. Through my years of working with iChange Nation's honor system, I have been able to bring honor to over 300 special needs people in 19 countries to date. Challenge Champions and Heroes National Awareness Day is celebrated every year on July 19th, which is also my sister Deborah Marie's birthday. I started Challenge Champions in 2015 in honor of my sister Debbie, who died from cerebral palsy at the age of 3. Today, this Challenge Champions and Heroes National Awareness Day Summit will be our 6th year. And this summit I have titled Embracing the New Horizon. Today's International Summit, we will be discussing my new book, Civility Dialogue Model. The purpose of this dialogue model is to give special needs a voice at the table and to be included in the decision-making process so their voice can be heard directly from them. This is also creating a safe space for their voices to be heard and to establish special needs civility dialogue around the world. That is why I have handpicked each one of you today for this discussion, because I believe you are real-time experts in your fields. And we have the ability to get into all arenas of government, education, families, etc., with the knowledge that you hold. So today I would like to welcome also His Royal Majesty, King Clyde Rivers, as my co-host. And as we begin, I ask that each one of you introduce yourselves, tell us where you're from, and what you do. And can we please start off with Dr. Michael Freeland?
Dr. Michael Freeland, a founder, CEO, and creator of Mental Real Estate, talks about the mentality of others, talking about the perspective of thought, understanding the positive and negative contributors to your mindset. And it is a global brand, also backed by iChange Nations, and it travels all around the world. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Freeland. Dr. Patrick.
Thank you so much. I'm Dr. Patrick Singh, based here in London, and I'm the founder of Greatness University. As well, my other time, I help people with the different ways to support them and include them in the society, especially doing educational testing for special educational needs and creating models of provision for them in the community here in England.
Thank you, Dr. Patrick. Dr. Lucen from the Caribbeans.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good night to everyone from the beautiful Caribbean island of St. Martin. I'm Dr. Lucien York, founder and CEO of Recharge Yourself Global, where we empower persons to be able to recharge themselves and then go out and recharge others. I'm also an activist or advocate rather of special needs, specifically in the area of dyslexia, as I am a dyslexic person myself. And I always say that I did not choose special needs education or anything to do with special needs, but it actually chose me. And it is a great honor to be able to be here with great world leaders speaking on the subject of special needs.
Thank you, Dr. Lucen. Jakura, could you introduce yourself and what you do?
Hi, my name is Jakora Robinson. I'm the owner of All Inclusion Paraclete LLC, short as AIP. Our mission is we advocate, we teach, we strengthen, we comfort, we guide, we empower, and we stand by you, those with or without disabilities that need to have their voice heard. Our core focus is in the areas of inclusion, housing, people with disabilities that's experiencing homelessness, prevention, homeless prevention, and transitional housing to transition to live on their own. We also specialize in self-determination, which is a program offered by the State of California Regional Centers and Developmental Department, State of California. And the self-determination allows individuals with special needs or disabilities to actually make choices on their own and be in control of the decisions and choices and things that they want to do in their own life. So we stand by those who have disabilities. I'm also a broker of Building Kingdom Realty School. We license people throughout the state of California to obtain their real estate license, and we sell and buy real estate.
Thank you, Jakura. Dr. Angelina, can you tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you do? I think we might.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Lokoko. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Now? Yeah, my name is Angelina Ogban from Nigeria, Africa, the founder of a Global Disability Green Initiative, GDGI, and ISDI, Inclusive Skills Development Initiative. GDGI focuses on persons with disability in climate change. We all know that persons with disability are the most vulnerable in terms of climate change. And we want to create this awareness globally for people to know so that their policies will be inclusive of persons with disability. And also in Inclusive Skill Development Initiative focuses on women with disabilities who are into business, train them on skills to learn, be independent, and contribute to the society. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Angelina. Did I miss anybody?
My goodness, this is.
I know, powerhouse.
Man, I'm blown away by this stuff, man. Go ahead, go.
Yes. So part of our summit today, we'll be discussing my special needs civility dialogue book. And I have a few questions lined up for you. If you could each give a response, maybe 3 minutes each for each question. Okay. So the first question I have is, do you think the special needs civility communication is important? Dr. Freeland, will you start us off?
Absolutely. Thank you for this honor, first of all, and having me a part of this show. Is amazing, amazing people with great visions. I think 100% absolutely. It's needed across not only just here at home locally, but it's needed around the world as an international brand of special needs interest and bringing awareness to the people that need to understand exactly what we're reaching for and what we want to see happen. Our communities are starving to understand the information that we have when it comes to helping people know what it means to be dealing, not only the fact of people living with special needs, but we also want to be able to consider those that are providing the service for special needs, because many times people have not had the right information with the care of understanding how to treat people with special needs. And that can also be become an issue in many areas. But we know that the leadership, and it begins with a lot of times with our leaders, the community's great. The people are great. The ones that are doing the work are obviously amazing because they have a lot of the known information. But when it comes to getting to the areas of change, we need to get into the areas of high leadership where people that don't normally have the awareness or may not have the families that are affected with people in special needs or dealing with special needs or having to take care of someone personally with someone who has developed special needs or may have been born with that. I think that this is very important to get to those, not just local offices, public offices, but official offices as well, where change could be implemented from a higher perspective to gain knowledge for the people as a whole.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Freeland. Dr. Patrick?
Yeah, thanks so much for asking that important question, because when you look at the history, for example, when you look at the history of disability and possibly depending on the country you find yourself in at this point in time, when you look traditionally, if a child was born differently, which we now call disability, some cultures they'll be killed because they are different from everyone else.
Yeah.
However, in some other cultures, they'll consider them as gods or goddesses, depending again. So when you look at those kind of that, there's been a lot of evolution in terms of understanding of disability, but at the same time on how we can make provision for the children or people with disability. So the civility communication is very important because that civility communication can save a life of that child, of that person who is different. Because if you think about carefully that I tend to see disability, everyone being on a spectrum, basically. So we're all different, we're all unique.
Yes.
And that's actually going biblically or from the God's idea that everyone is created unique, everyone is created different. So difference is desired, difference is important. But once we start with civility, we need to get that message deep and loud and clear to the people that actually we're all unique, we're all different, we're all on that spectrum. Yes, you can say, yes, I have dyslexia, but everyone has a problem with reading or understanding of a language or interpreting certain sounds. So that because of the thinking about that, the majority of the people, yes, you can call them the average. And then you have those on the other side of the spectrum who are very, very able. And then on the lesser spectrum, which we relegate to the disability category. So sometimes the language we use kind of either enable us or disable us in communicating civilly. And that's why, like His Royal Majesty's thinking that we need to think about these tired words. So that disability word, to some extent, is a tired word that needs a new word to be replaced so that the words we're going to use are going to be inclusive and not exclusive of some people. Because the moment I use, say, disabled, then I'm kind of saying it against the word abled, gifted, differently. For example, that could be a different word that we could use and say, actually, yes, that child or that person is different because they're gifted differently.
Yes.
And we need them because they're going to contribute something unique to our society rather than either relegating them to that category of those who are not desired or don't deserve to live. So language needs change. Our language needs to be more civil if we're moving and continue to move into the 21st century.
So saying differently, is it a positive versus a negative?
Wow, Patrick, that was great insight.
Yes.
Great insight. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Patrick. Dr. Lucian, what are your thoughts on that question?
Wow, I'm not sure I can go after Dr. Patrick, but I'll try my best. You know, Dr. I always say that every great action starts with conversation. Every great outcome, I believe, is hinged upon dialogue, being able to lobby and have deep conversations. You know, just like what Dr. Patrick says, words are powerful. Verbiage and language is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when we begin to speak about special needs from a higher level and from a different tone that it also speaks volume about what we are trying to accomplish, right? And so, for very early in my advert work, if you would remember, Coca and Dr. Rivers is push. I said from the beginning that I don't really use the word disability. Most times, if I do, it's for the sake of the conversation and what they may be comfortable with. But I believe that it's time for us to shift our language, the way we speak. And all of this is only possible through models like this, Dr. Lokoko, when we're able to have great leaders and experts and specialists like ourselves come into the same room and have a conversation by which we begin to redefine. I love talking about redefining what special needs is and what it looks like. And that's why Dr. Lukoko and Dr. Rivers, I love being in both of your presence, and by extension, all of the other great leaders here, because it brings, every time we meet to have a conversation, it brings a new definition to what we are doing. And so I cannot reiterate any more than I have already been doing the importance of conversation. Conversation and dialogue is everything. And we must begin to conversate and communicate with great intentions.
Yes, I agree. All right, Jakora, would you help us with that question, please?
Yes, I believe this subject is very important because people with disabilities, and I agree with Dr. York, that word has a negative connotation on that word. However, it's a word that's in our vocabulary. It's been in our vocabulary for many and many of years. It does not take away from who the person is. It needs to be made known who a person with disability truly is. They are not defined by their disability. It makes me think about the Bible verse of when the blind man and the disciples and the people was asking, why was this man born blind? Right. And God said, it wasn't because of sin. It wasn't because he did anything wrong. It wasn't because his parents did anything wrong. He was born blind so I can make myself manifest in the world, so I can be glorified. So many people with different disabilities does not make them unable to contribute to this world. It does not make them not have abilities to make this place a better place for everyone. It's just that they need to have their voice be made known. And what we do in our business, All Inclusion Paraclete, we make sure we emphasize on inclusion. Inclusion is the most important part when it comes to all people with or without disabilities. It is very important that they are included. We are included. This makes us feel purposeful. It makes us be able to live out our purpose, what God intended us to live out in this world. I believe people with disabilities is not a disability, it's an ability. They need to it's important to make sure that we raise the voice for their talents and gifts to be able to be known in the world. This is important because their voice needs to be heard and not muted. So many years, me as a lived experience, seeing my brother who has a disability, and then I have a child with a disability, most of the time their voices their voices are made muted, like their choices, their decisions, their wants and their needs are not expressed, because so many times we feel like we know what's best for them instead of them self-determining what's best for them. So this dialogue needs to be heard across the world, so we can be more aware that they have a voice, whether they speak nonverbal or whether they have a physical or intellectual or developmental disability. They still have a voice. They still have a purpose. Another thing is their talents and gifts needs to be on display. We need to show the world that there's more talent. There's a lot of growing to do in society, and not stop overlooking individuals just because they have a disability. I think about the man born blind. I think about the lame man who was trying to get in the water and everybody overstepped him, overlooked him, and he was just looking for a blessing. And that's what we need to be like Jesus. We need to see these people. We need to recognize that what we call disability is an ability to make God known in the world. And this is why I feel like this is very needed.
Go ahead on now. Go ahead.
Fire. Fire. And when you said making special needs visible, that's part of my honor that I do. I've honored a blind man that climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. I've honored a young man that was born without a jaw and a voice box, but his dream was to be a rapper. And he found a way to do it.
Yeah.
And he is famous now, and he's carrying that message that even though you have a disability, you can do great things. So
yes, indeed.
Yeah. So let's see, Angelina, are you still there?
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Lokoko. Question is a very important question. And when we look at special need civility communication, is very important because it helps build empathy and inclusion.
Yes.
Ensuring people with disabilities are valued and heard. So it's very important. So in Nigeria, where cultural belief can marginalize them, this communication can break down barriers. Honestly, it can break down barriers. It can promote acceptance and advocate for better rights and opportunities. That is why this question is very important. So it seems like to create a society where celebrates diversity and recognizes everyone's wealth. So very important. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Did I miss anybody?
No.
No, we're good? Okay. King Rivers, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I'm blown away. So go to I want to hear them talk.
Okay.
Well, we haven't heard you talk on record, so I would love to hear what.
Let me tell you what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this group, we can establish a new language. We can, if we're going to change the world, we have to create the new narrative.
Yes.
We have to understand that policy follows ideas. So, and with the things that I've done around the world, by the grace of God, we've changed so much stuff. So I'm hearing what Dr. Patrick said. That's phenomenal.
Yes.
I think it involves making common sense common again. And I think that's what we have to really work on. So I'm listening. I'm saying, what kind of an initiative could we establish? A global initiative, put it into my throne, and we push this around the world.
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking. So
this is the team that can do it.
Yes.
When you talk about changing the verbiage and coming up with new language, I have created a new word called embracivity. So that means to embrace the human condition. So realizing that we are all different.
Dr. Coco, you just graze over that word like that. That's fire.
Embracivity. So, but
Embrace
anyway, thank you.
the human condition. That's
Yes.
beautiful.
So we'll go on to the next question I have for you guys. Give us one example of what you see of the hindrances of communication regarding the special needs and the community. One example. Dr. Freeland, you're our start man. Are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm here.
Okay.
Repeat that question again. I'm going to play a trivia with this one. Go ahead.
Okay. Give us one example that you see of the hindrances to the communication regarding special needs and the community.
Proper education, and I say this wholeheartedly because as a victim of that communication, knowing when to make the right decisions, knowing when to make the right call. There are a lot of people out here, let me just say, because I've been one of them, and I can only speak from experience. There are a lot of people out here who have been misdiagnosed. Let me say that again. They've been misdiagnosed. Now, I, for one, going through the situation, seeing when it comes to the information that needs to be passed is the education that people is required. Because when you deal with something that is rare or that is not common to people, they don't show much interest in it. They'll follow the quid pro quo just because it's popular. So this is the new thing. So everybody's pressed towards that direction. But when we have people who are dealing with the special needs or the inabilities or the lack thereof, we don't have a pool enough of educated people to make informed decisions. So a lot of times when you sit in front of that doctor, they're going to give you their rendition rather than the honest truth.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of times what happens is when they become misdiagnosed with that, they end up, can you imagine how many patients that couldn't speak up for themselves because they have to deal with the inabilities or lack thereof, and yet still they can't speak up for themselves in areas that is really needed because they may not have the knowledge, but yet still receive a diagnosis from a doctor that tells them, this is your dilemma, this is what you're dealing with, and we're going to treat you for this. How many years do you think goes by that that person has been misdiagnosed, treated for the wrong thing, and the condition continues to get worse, and they could never find it?
Yeah.
So my joint on that is just the education piece needs to ramp up when it comes to the special needs to help really educate people on what they're dealing with, because just because you're a professional doesn't mean you get professional advice.
Right. Right. Even if they get it at all from the professionals, because a lot of times they don't even give out any information. So thank you. Let's see.
Patrick.
Patrick, thank you.
Thanks so much. And one of the things I was thinking about is the culture, because sometimes the culture might want to be diagnosed, or the culture might say no, don't. So some of the cultures, they are very open and they say actually, even if I say, for example, I have people coming for assessment, I say, okay, what are you struggling with? Okay, when I'm reading, the words are moving about. Okay, now I'll give you an overlay. Okay, that should normally, well, just I'm giving an example, should resolve the problem that the words are going to not going to be moving around the paper, or maybe you have to go for an eye test. But some people say, no, I still need a label. So because that's a culture, because if you go to the hospital or to any professional setting, they have to be told, oh yes, I'm feeling a bit cold, I'm feeling a bit, my nose is kind of running, yes, you have flu. So you need to have that conclusion that this is what you have, in other words, a label, so that you can live according to the label. But again, depending on the label someone gets, some of the people go further, looking further on the internet. Okay, I have this, I don't have this yet. I should be having this. So in other words, that culture end up kind of disabling that person further because that person will continue looking at the symptoms they don't have, and they want you to have them because they've been put in that specific category. So that's one part of the cultural understanding or cultural interpretation of being different or disability, if you want to use that word. However, the other culture would say, actually, be basically in a state of denial. No, my child has no problem. Leave them alone. It is you're kind of trying to make
Yeah.
yourself some money. Don't touch them. But the problem will not go away. That child will still struggle, or that person will still struggle with what they're not able to naturally do. But if maybe with training and support and adaptation, then that problem might be managed or resolved. So the cultural tensions that create miscommunication, the cultural tensions create different levels of expectation, and that all that put together makes it hard for the child or for the person who is different, for the person who has a difficulty that they feel needs adjustment, reasonable adjustment, or a specific intervention. Thank you.
Mm,
Wow, that's a great. I never, you
yeah.
see, many times that what I love about these conversations is it expands you. It expands your thinking. I know my wife as a teacher at times, she would have students that like they would try to put on a spectrum because of the abilities, and the parents said no,
No way. Yeah.
no
The
way.
parents fight
I'm
it.
not going to be labeled with that. And as Dr. Singh said, that doesn't make the kid doesn't get better.
Right.
And then there's other times where they want to force stuff on because policy dollars. So they have to have so much. So it's a real, this is an intriguing conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And cultural, that some cultures they don't look at it at all. They just, it's taboo and it's very negative.
Yes.
Yeah, a couple years ago we were in Uganda, King Clyde,
Yes.
and you remember the 2-year-old boy? They killed him and they buried him alive because he was diagnosed with autism.
Yeah.
Well, while we were there, that happened. It was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So it's crazy cultural stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, Doctor, who do we miss?
Solution.
Dr. Lucen.
Yes.
I would say what is missing is the concept of special needs mainstreaming. This concept speaks to ensuring that persons with special needs are included, not at the end of the decision that was made, not at the end of the policy, not at the end of whatever system is put in place. But this concept says, the concept of special needs mainstreaming says that they must be included before, during, and after, that they must sit at the table, that they must have and play a very integral role in constructing whatever it is we're trying to build. I am a bit tired of, and especially as someone who has been a policy advisor and also been instrumental in creating policy, that unfortunately, Dr. Lokoko and team, a lot of persons, a lot of policy workers, persons who has the quote unquote role of putting things in place for anyone, in this case, persons with special needs, while they are doing it with great intentions and wanting to make sure that they are included, what I see or what I believe is missing is the time that we take to actually hear firsthand from these individuals. And so a lot of times we sit from our capacity, we sit from our positions and we do on their behalf. And while it seems like a good thing, here's my question. How are we sure that we're meeting the actual need of the persons that we're doing stuff on behalf of? Here's a quick example. I remember in the past, we'll stay in our offices. We will have a lot of, put great ideas together, have fundraisers, and come up with large sums of money. And for example, buy a bunch of tablets, tablets, devices. And we will go over to Kenya or over to Zimbabwe and give these tablets, give these devices out. And then we get there, we realize it's almost as if it's no use to them because there's no proper infrastructure. Right. And so what I'm envisioning, when we talk about embracing the new horizon, I'm envisioning the true sense of special needs friendly cities. And I'm not talking about where we just have a wheelchair ramp here, or wider doors, or special accommodations made for the restrooms, or what. I'm talking about where we are ensuring first and foremost that the persons we are creating these policies, these playgrounds, whatever it is, that they are at the table.
Yes.
And they are a part of the discussion and the conversation, and they are able to say, this is what we actually need.
Mm-hmm. And part of the dialogue model, what we call is learn to listen and listen to learn.
Yeah.
So in that dialogue, it's going to go both ways. The special needs will have their chance to speak and share their feelings and their issues. And then the higher ups or the governments, whoever who make the policies, will in turn have to learn to listen. And then that's where you come to the agreement. And if you don't, you just keep discussing.
And
right.
I love the concept of a special needs friendly city.
Yeah.
There speaks volumes to me.
Yeah. Almost like a celebration city where they become first and foremost. Love it. Thank you, Dr. York.
Very good, Dr. York.
Dr. Angelina.
No, it goes Jacora, then Angelina.
Oh, okay.
I got the flow. You run the show.
All right. Got it, boss.
I like that, King Clay. I got the flow. You run the show. So cool. Okay. Wow. It's interesting that you put me right after Dr. York, because I mean, everything that I kind of believe in is aligned with what he pretty much said. What we do in our business is self-determination. And really, self-determination is person-centered. We focus on the person ideas, the person freedom of choice. We focus on their thinking. So we call it the person-centered thinking. You have to understand that the person is the expert of their own life. So what better way we can get the input of what their needs are than it coming from them? Amen. And their voice. In however way they express it, they still have a voice. So person-centered is very important. That's what we practice in our company, is person-centered planning. And with this, we're respecting their preference, their values, their culture. You know, everybody have a culture. That means that you have an environment, you have a family, you have friends that is important to you. So those things need to be considered. Their preferences, what they like, what they do not like, their values, what they value, religion, it maybe value work or whatever. Those things are important when we're thinking about dialogue coming for people with special needs. And then we need to support their decision making. They have a choice. They can make decisions. They can make decisions to do or not to do. They can make decisions on what they want to eat. They can make decisions on where they want to live. They can make decisions on who they want to support them. So with my experience, my lived experience, so many times throughout the year, it was more like with the family members that had disabilities, it was more like, we feel like this is best for them. They need to do this. They need to be in this program. They need to be in that program. And even with the regional center here in California, they focus on, it was a system where we have vendors, we make up the program on how we want it to be, and you have to pick from what we feel like is good for you. When it comes to person-centered planning, when it comes to person-centered self-determination, it's freedom of choice. It's freedom to pick. It's freedom to choose, just like you and I would, just like any typical person would do with their own life. And I think that is very, very important when you're talking about communication. Also, holistic planning, right? We don't just want to focus on services. We don't want to just focus on fixing their problem. They don't need to be fixed. It's only the only thing is there is nothing wrong. They have an ability to do things in a different way. And people need to recognize that. It's a different way. It's a different communication. It's a different, just like all of us, we communicate differently. So let's not just focus on a systematic way of doing things, but a holistic communication around planning for them, their housing, their environment, their everything needs to be involved when it comes to, this communication. So I really feel like this is very important when it comes to community and communication. Everyone has a community and everyone has a choice. Everyone has values. Everyone has preferences. Everyone has, everyone with or without a disability, and we need to respect those things.
Right. We need to be sensitive in the communication by providing visual aids, communication devices, for those that are visually impaired or hearing impaired. All those different models of communication have to be accessible also in the dialogue model.
And we were actually advocating, because I'm I'm an ambassador for an organization here in California called Disability Voices United. And we were just talking about the communication, having those things that will help us better communicate, and devices and things that we need to have so those voices can be heard.
Yes. Thank you, Chikora.
And Angelina, next on deck.
Yeah.
Get a home run.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm on. Thank you so very much. This question is a very good one, most especially in Africa. I still go with culture, because cultural stigma is one major hindrance in communication, most especially for persons with special needs. where disability is often seen as a cause or source of shame in some parts of Nigeria, in our community. They see some persons with disability as a cause, or maybe from your parents, or a disgrace, so many things, name given to it. So this can lead to silence and isolation. So how do we do this? Preventing open dialogue and support. It hinders engagement between persons with disabilities and the broader community.
Yes.
So we can now see that culture is cultural stigma is one of the most major hindrances in communication.
Yes.
So how do we move on from these aspects? We have a whole lot to do.
Yes.
Wow. Angela, why do you always throw so much meat at the table? I love hearing you talk because this is why we don't get it sometimes, because of real talks like this.
Yeah.
Real talks, policy rooms are only thinking budget. They're only thinking budget. They're not thinking development. And at times, I've seen it from the other side, where they need the problem to keep a job.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't really want to solve the problem because
Yes.
fix you, we're unemployed. So these are
Yes.
different concepts that we have to fight through as well. And I just think out of this talk here, I have like
How do we change that mindset?
right. I have 5 different ideas, just with you guys talking right now, just concepts. And you know what? Let me tell you this here. It's gonna have to start with Jakor. You need to write a book, okay, on the actual realities, because guess what? If you put it in print, like Dr. Lococo did, her special needs, so now it's in print. So now, when you go and do as you go and you do things, you can leave a document in their hands. So now they can look, because here it is. Change isn't changed until it's changed.
Changed.
Yes.
Isn't changed until it's changed. So someone has to change the conversation until it's changed. Until it's changed. So I love this. And I know in Africa a lot of it is. Dr. Patrick, that's true, isn't it? Dr. Basinga, yes.
Yes. Yes.
Dr. Coco, next question, please.
Okay, thank you. How do you see this dialogue model being effective, considering the vast complexities of the special needs spectrum?
That's a great question, because
Loaded question there.
good question, because at times people get lost in the ocean of it.
Yeah.
You grounded. Dr. Michael, the legend Freeland, free your lands, free your mind. It's time to shine. Michael Freeland, to you.
I was thinking about that. Dr. Lococo, give me the first sentence of what you just said again. I'm saying,
Okay.
it's not that I didn't hear you, but there's a reason why I ask you to repeat that. Say
Okay.
that first part again, please.
How do you see this dialogue model being effective, considering the vast complexities of special needs spectrum?
Recognizing the total picture. Now, here's what I say. Now, this is a broad thought process, but follow me for a second.
Okay.
We can get into the logistics of every community, of what they're doing. We can get into the specific communities and what they're doing, the individuals and what they're doing, the people that need to be treated, the people most affected. But one thing I was thinking about is the ocean. Now, the ocean has many currents. It flows in many different directions. And as I was thinking about that, I was wondering about something. I said, That's funny because we can have typhoons and hurricanes and spouts and everything come out of the ocean, but we also know that the ocean can change its direction. And just because the ocean changes direction doesn't disable it. Because the current doesn't flow the way we're used to seeing it. Yeah, I'm standing. Because the current doesn't flow the way that we're used to seeing it doesn't mean that it is ineffective. It just moves different. So when I say, when we get into these communities and we're talking about the aspect of special needs, the total package is just as important, because we need to see everybody. Just as you look behind you and you see the traffic running down the highway, you see the tall skyscrapers, though it doesn't change the landscape just because we have a car on the highway. Everything is moving within its own purpose, within its own will. But when we can get the fact that we have to have a total picture here when it comes to special needs, that means your job is just as important as mine. What you do, what you bring to the table, what you create is just as important as mine. So if we have the power of life and death in our tongue, everything that is out here is as of value. So we can bring something to the table, we can take something from the table, but the whole thing, as I said, in the ocean, does it change the actual ocean because it moves different? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about how this really fits in and what it really does and how effective it can really be, that total package to me is most important, because the conversation from your ears is going to come to mine. My conversation to someone else is going to go to them. You have no idea, none of us do, from where this meeting ends, where that next level is coming from, who it's going to reach and who it's going to teach. But we got to continue to understand that the total package of what we want to see in the communities for these people with special needs, I included, and moving forward to help develop a society together, is what really is going to help bring things around superfold. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Dr. Freeland. Man, let me tell you something. That you were speaking, this hit my mind. Most people look at the first problem, not the real problem. The first problem sometimes is not the real problem. The first thing in front of your face is not the real problem. So yeah, Dr. Freeland, that's great. Look at the holistic thing. And it's man, it's so big of a need. It's so big of a I can't believe in this century we're still at this level.
Yeah.
At this century in history, we're still at this level of trying to give a human being just a basic life to have a voice. Man,
We still need to educate just basic human currency.
Yes.
You know? For everybody.
That's very good.
Yeah. All right.
Yes, I was going to start from the other way, the opposite direction, Dr. Freeland. I maybe have to think about the different layers of communication and the purpose of that communication, because we're looking at the effective of the communication model, which is dialogic. So starting with the person themselves, what are their self-beliefs? How do they perceive themselves? Do they perceive themselves as having any difficulty or not difficulty? Because if you're communicating with that person, individual, and they're saying, actually, I have no problem, leave me alone. So whatever we try to communicate is not going to take ground or be implemented because they don't see the problem. Then the family, what is the family's perception around that problem, if there's a problem around that need? And what the messages are we hearing from the family? And as Angelina said, for example, in Africa, a number of countries in Africa, what about the community itself? How does the community see that person with that unique difference? And then from the community to the region, and then to the nation, and then globally. So because at each level, we're communicating to a different identity or different person, let's use the word person, and therefore our approach to those persons at different levels is going to be different, as opposed to just having a blanket communication model, which we think that is going to work. Because if, for example, if I go into government, I'm not going to say, actually, when I was working in this village, I saw this. Of course, that's an example. I'm going there at a policy level, saying actually 70% of the people in, for example, Nigeria and Uganda have this difficulty, and therefore, what are you doing about it as a government? Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Lucien York.
Okay.
Oh, we can't hear you, Dr. Lucien.
We see you moving, but there's no vocal.
Sorry, my bad. I was saying I'm burning. I'm burning with so many different ideas and so many things that are coming to my mind. And before I go to the actual part of the question, what comes to my mind is proper administration and documentation. I think this is necessary, and that's why when I love when my mentor, Dr. Rivers, say to our lovely sister that's among us that she needs to write, because documentation is very powerful. But anyhow, I won't go onto that too much because I want to be able to answer the question. Here is it, Dr. Lokoko. I believe that one of the ways in which this model can be most effective is where we continue to introduce the STEAM approach across the world of the educational system. You know, the United Nations Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities says access to education, participation in public life, and equal dignity are not a privilege. It is an entitlement that every society must uphold. Persons with special needs are entitled. It's not just a privilege. We are entitled to access to education, the ability to actively participate in a public life, and also to have equal dignity. Now it brings me back to the STEAM approach. I'm not sure how many of us know what the STEAM approach is for our listening audience, and so I'm gonna just give you the abbreviation of STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And now the STEAM approach, and so here is it. I believe that with this model, if we aggressively introduce the STEAM model across the world in our educational system, that we will see a lot of what the Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disability is promoting. Because this approach, this STEAM approach, opens up a pathway for different types of learning. And it also, before it was STEAM approach, it was STEM, right? And they added the A not too long ago, hence it's now STEAM. And the A, of course, which speaks to the aspect of arts, right away includes neurodivergence. Right away, it brings gifted persons with special needs into the picture, and it gives them that support that they are longing for. It gives them that privilege and right to be able to learn differently and have in our classrooms and in our educational systems tailored educational curriculums, right? Because for too long our educational system is too mainstream, right? It's mainstream, and it's for the persons who we deem intelligent. But there's a different type of intelligence that persons with special needs carry. And in order for them to be able to carry out this level of intelligence, I personally believe that it's going to take this type of model to aggressively introduce everywhere the STEAM approach. And lastly, I'll say to that is that when we look at the STEAM approach, right away it tells us that it's not just one-sided. You know, we're talking about technology, we're talking about engineering, arts, mathematics, science, right?
Yeah.
And I'll plug this in lastly. This is where I also am longing for there to be I know some of it has started, but I'm longing to see the work of policies, proper policies, where it speaks to AI in education.
Wow, thank you. Dr. LaCour, anything you want to say?
I was just thinking, are you talking ADA, Dr. Lucen? That's a American Disabilities Act. So that doesn't qualify around the world. Which,
Yeah.
by the way, is their 35-year anniversary today.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
American Disabilities Act. But your STEAM model can be applied, with a flexibility in other countries of the world that don't have any foundation of disability rights.
Yes.
So we could incorporate that in a more flexible, depending on what the situation is in different countries.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
It's kind of unfortunate that because more and more when I continue to do my research and I look at even the Convention of the Rights of a Child, I think there's over 189 countries that is being ratified by the Convention of the Rights of a Child, and also maybe not as much, but close enough also with the Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. But for some reason, the U.S. Has never been a co-signer of these United Nations treaties and rights, unfortunately.
Yeah, let me kind of, if you don't mind, let me interject something. If you're gonna change the world, you have to create the new narrative. Listen to me, please. I'm going to give you, as a pioneer, not as a settler. If you want to change things, you have to eat the old thing up.
Yeah.
Walk beside it, eat it up. And when you walk beside it with, let me tell you, when you walk beside it with actual real time evidence, eventually, when you speak from a place of knowing, they hear. Like Patrick, as you're speaking, Duke, as you're speaking, we know that you're a professional in it because your perspectives. Jacora, as you speak, we know your boots on the ground. I mean, it comes, it just comes out. Angela, as you're speaking, we know you know that policy room better than anyone. You understand the policy room. Dr. Frieden, as you speak, you got the mindset, the actual framework. Dr. Lakoko, as you speak, you understand the honor and the actual dialogue. So what I think could actually come out of here, and this is what I always tell people, look, if you want to win the war, don't focus on just one battle. Because wars have many battles are in wars. What you have to do with this group, and this is why I love this conversation. And Dr. Lakoko, thank you for having this conversation. We can come out of here and we can frame a new concept for a special needs friendly city.
Yeah.
Special needs friendly city will be our initiative. Now, what do? We just eat up the old. We eat up the old with small template, and we just start to eat. and we track if we get
And we
10
build the army as we go.
10 individuals that we use, and we say 70% of the pooled resource was this, and we just start to eat and we create. And here's the big deception on policy is this: policy follows innovation. Policy doesn't follow problems; it follows innovation. Whenever, example, as like Uber started, it got so big they had to regulate it. As Airbnb got so big they had to regulate. Smart cities, special needs, brilliant. I wouldn't call it smart. I'd call it brilliant. Special
Yes.
cities. Brilliant. So change the vocabulary, verbally engineer, and start to build brilliant cities for special needs.
Yeah.
So these are the concepts and ideas, because I think of policy. Let me give you just a quick story here. The first time I went to the Supreme Court in America, I saw a video of Dr. Martin Luther King. Dr. King was being snuck in a back door at Ole Miss University, where after civil rights, he watched the first Black student graduate. They had to sneak him in the back door. It showed a picture of 30 years later at that school. You had every culture walking across that stage.
Yeah.
Asian, Black, all this special need, everyone. So this is the actual power is the actual day and initiative is established. Give it 30 years, and the whole world will adopt it.
Yeah.
I think this is such a brilliant group of people that we could talk about how to build brilliant special needs communities.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
We start in communities, then go to cities, then go to countries, and we just build and build, and we take it all.
Of course, that's the model I got out of this so far, because policy only listens to pain. It doesn't listen to gain. When there's a problem, government goes to the problem. Government doesn't create. It's not creative. It follows. Something gets out of hand, they add policy dollars. And then here's the other part of the policy is if they give you dollars today, they won't be there forever. They're going to move them. They're going to shift the dollars for the greatest need. So Dr. Lococo, again, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here overwhelmed with the wisdom on this panel here. See, guys, I already picked out everyone's specialist. I got men. We have just this group here.
I told you they're handpicked.
We have the actual culture of honor, bringing exposure, recognition for dialogue, true practitioner, Dr. Coco. I want to honor Dr. Jacora with the honorary doctorate. She needs to be
All right.
family.
Thank you.
Ogden, I want to make sure we get these people as honorary doctors. So as they publish their books, they come as life-based experts. Dr. Lococo, you have no idea what you started today. You have no idea what you started today. So here it is. We will create our own, because of our seminary, we will create our own faith-based experts, special needs.
Yes.
Based experts, special needs. I never have a mission. I create stuff.
Yeah.
And the first law of creation is criticism. Oh, it's not valid. Just keep going. It'll grow. So Dr. Lococo, I'm sorry. I had to. You made this happen. It's your fault. So.
You're welcome.
Wow.
Man, does anybody want to add to what I just said? Dr.
I think.
Go ahead. Or Angela, who was going to speak? Was that you, Angela?
That was Jacora.
Go ahead, Jacora.
I think that's amazing. Everything you said, kind of aligns already with one, God, how you spoke about I'm a creator. God is the creator, but he made us in his same image. So we're designed to create here. And I love that you mentioned that we're creating this space for people with special needs. We're creating something that's not seen in the world just yet until we produce it and create it. So I love that you mentioned that I'm a creator, and we're all creators. We are designed, our purpose was to create, so.
Yes,
God.
so true.
Man, Dr. Basingay, would you interject, please?
Thanks so much for the opportunity. It's been great, really, having to learn from each and everyone here. And as you said, yes, we do create things as well, opportunities with Greatness University, because it's really helping people to discover their uniqueness, discover their greatness, as Dr. Jekora to be, Doctor to be. We have to get used to that now. Dr.
Yes.
Jekora says that, yeah, it says that, yes, God is a creator, but as well, we're made in God's image and likeness. But at the same time, we have the DNA of God. We have the greatness of God in us. So we should be able to create all these innovations and cities and change the world that God wants us to shape the world with. I always tell some people when they say, I'm just a pencil. I'm a pencil in the hand of God.
Woo,
Writing
that's
a new
awesome.
chapter each day with my life. I don't want to be the rubber. Well, you can be a rubber sometimes. You have to start as well doing the rubbing off some of the things that don't work. Just rub them off. On the other end of the pencil, the other side, you're writing and you're rubbing off some of the things which don't work. And I think that's a calling that every one of us here is called to manifest and change the world in a positive way. Thank you.
That's
Thank you,
wonderful,
Dr.
beautiful.
Dr. Lucen, wait, are you guys excited like I am?
Yeah.
Can
Absolutely.
it's 10:24. Can we do one more question? Maybe go to 11?
Yes, yeah, that'll be good. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm just interested in asking how would you apply it in your realm right now today?
Great question.
This
Michael Freeman,
dialogue model, how would it work in your world where you're at?
great question.
Just quickly.
Dr. Freeman, we'll start with you.
It would absolutely 100% be in collaboration based off of the audience that I'm reaching and targeting right now, with the population that also helps with special needs, not only mentally but physically as well. So I think that that's intriguing to get the information out to every region that I go to help bring about the awareness of special needs and drawing a serious interest in others by passing on this information. So I think that this is very vital to every region that I go to, and my personal experience with it as well would be a testimony to that.
Thank you, Dr. Freeland. Dr. Patrick.
Yes, thinking about the application and looking at the kind of people I work with, the community I live in. I think one of the things that we do is really listening to the person. As previous Jacora said, we need to listen to that person. What are they exactly saying? How do they feel about themselves? What do they think is a problem? Because when I said this is a problem, from outside I'm looking, this is a problem, but actually, that's not the problem. It's just a symptom of the problem. So having a listening ear, but as well, Angeline talks about compassion and I think as well, compassionate listening, compassionate understanding. I think those are very powerful concepts that I think they will help me move forward from this conference. Thank you.
Okay. Dr. Lucen, implementing the special needs dialogue in your community?
I think when it comes to implementing this dialogue within my community, it calls for action. And I came up with this abbreviation of action that speaks to advocate for inclusion, communicate with passion, transform minds and systems, innovate with purpose, optimize every opportunity, and nurture every ability.
That's great. Awesome.
Goodness.
Awesome. Jakora, how would you implement special needs dialogue model in your community? What you are already doing, really.
Yeah, so pretty much I was tasked with sharing on the expertise. One of the expertise that we deal with is family. So I talked about person-centered, and then we have a cultural part where the person is included in a family, and that's a big part of them. And then as I was reading your book, and I discovered the King Rivers dialogue model, I realized there's 12 concepts of the dialogue model. And what stood out to me is that when we're approaching and we're using these 12 concepts, it does not necessarily have to be used just all at once. We can implement each concept one at a time, starting with one. Then we're practicing that, we're growing in that, and then we're building on top of that. And when the key concept that stood out to me when it comes to family is that the dialogue of listening is very, very important when it comes to that. My grandmother, and I might sound like her a little bit right here. My grandmother, as I was growing up, and even to today as an adult, you know, your grandparents, they say what they want, they mean what they say, and they want you to obey, right? So my grandmother always said to me, Jakora, you have to listen. You're hearing me, but you're not listening. I'm like, what do you mean? I hear what you're saying. I'm listening. And when we're listening, it's not just hearing, it's an active. It's active. You're actively listening, meaning that you're taking it in and then you're acting on it. You're obeying what is said. You know, you're not letting it go through your ears and out, right? You're really listening, paying attention. And Jesus showed this in the Bible. He said, those who have ears, let them hear. And when I looked up the Greek word of hear is listening, actively listening, paying attention, paying close attention. This is important. And I think that's very important when you're applying that in a family structure, right? Listening means more than hearing. It means understanding, perceiving, responding with compassion, and doing, right? When you look at that, it helps de-escalate conflict. It builds trust between the family, the parents. It unites us instead of dividing us, right? And then out of the dialogue model, there's two more key parts, is temperament strategies. I mean, recognizing and respecting each family member temperament, especially those with unique needs, special needs, disability, whatever you want to call them, helps reduce judgment and increase empathy, right?
Yes.
An example is that in our business, we coach parents to understand behaviors of their children with special needs. Understanding why they act out is not just because they're bad. Like so many times throughout our culture, individuals with special needs, when they act out or they communicate a different way, we think that they're bad children. They're bad. They're doing something wrong. No, they're acting out because this is the way I've learned to communicate to get what I want. So in our company, we have to educate the parents how to understand these behaviors and how to address those. It's not gentle parenting, it's understanding. Okay.
And society.
Yes, and then you have to look at it from their point of view, is that they have different traumas. Dealing with special needs, you're really treated differently. You're manipulated, and many times you're treated as an outsider. You're overlooked. So those different temperaments and those needs to be heard is very important, right? And then the last part is the process of building. The process of building. I think this was a very important part of the dialogue model, is the process of building. Because we can go through all of these things and never build. We never get anywhere. That's reminds me of the wall of, I think it was the wall of Jerusalem or Jericho. I forget, in the Bible, where Nehemiah was sent on assignment to build the wall, because so many years, generations, and kings, the Israelites were stuck because they just didn't build the wall. And the process of building, being intentional with your dialogue, isn't just talking, it's construction. Come on, we need to build. It's the construction. Being intentional with your dialogue is not just talking about it, but it's construction, right? I learned that, every word can build bridges or it can build barriers. What does your words do? Does it build bridges, or does your words build barriers, right? So we need to understand and be intentional. Our team focused on using affirming language to uplift families, individuals with special needs, unique needs, and especially during like transition in times of planning and in times of crisis. We need to learn how to build the bridges for them to get onto the other side. We need to learn how to build. We need to know how to move forward. We need to know what is going to make an impact, right? So with that, I believe that the dialogue model is a blueprint of how we can educate families, how we can train staff, how we can partner with different resources, organizations across the world, and how we can advocate for inclusion, how we can advocate for people with special needs, voices, talents, gifts, and everything to be made in this world, and that we can do what King Rivers have suggested, is that we start and we go out and reach the ends of the world. That's an assignment directly from the Word of God, really. It aligns with divine authority, a divine assignment. He told them, you will go and reach the ends of the world. First start here in Jerusalem, Samaria, to the ends of the world. I'm sending you. And I think this is a great example. Using the dialogue model is an example how we can reach the ends of the world.
Amen. Thank you, Jacora. So team, are you with me on in building this dialogue model around the world?
I think
Yes.
Dr.
You forgot Angela.
Angela went. Yes.
Angela,
Yeah.
you still there?
Yeah.
Yes, I am here.
Good. Very quickly, will you share how you would apply this dialogue model in Nigeria in your community?
Thank you. Firstly, I will create a dialogue chamber in my community, appointing a table leader and ensuring persons with disabilities introduce themselves, adhering the golden rule, and also treat others as you want to be treated. So this platform will empower persons with special needs to share their accessibility concern that align with the book's emphasis on inclusive space. So I will advocate for their voices to be sharp, to be heard, policies by facilitating this discussion monthly or quarterly, starting from 2026 by God's grace. Then secondly, I will also address historical books like Stigma by highlighting persons with disability achievement. Example, a deaf environment educator during advocacy campaign, fostering empathy and collaboration. It also helps. Then as an advocate, I would also organize quarterly recognition events to honor those contributions.
Yes.
And our leaders, especially our dear Dr. Lokoko and others
Thank you.
that
Thank you so much.
and integrated into our community plans. So finally, I will also lead a diplomatic dialogue and unite guiding solution-based discussion on persons with disability needs while navigating emotional differences. So I will unite persons with disabilities caregivers, policymakers around inclusive sustainability goals, and also proposing a follow-up action plan to monitor progress and advocate. I will also lobby. Yeah, we start with lobby. We know our rights, the right this and that. We also need to be lobbying for this adoption. Then launching a local dialogue series to pilot accessible climate projects, ensuring persons with disabilities unique gifts are changed and being put into consideration. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I have a cool thing I want to add, okay?
Okay.
Let me tell you guys what I would like to do next. This group here, let me tell you what I think we have. Now, I want to come on next month again, okay? And I want you guys I want you guys to like think about this, okay?
Let's give them an assignment.
Yeah. Just think about what does a successful special needs nation look like? What does a successful special needs community look like? Okay, what am I saying this for? And then out of that, we can establish policies because most of what I'm hearing is reactive to the issues. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. How do we create the special needs world we want? That's the difference. we have to be able to actually show the world what we want. What we want. And we'll create
We'll write our own policy.
exactly. I want you guys to think about what infrastructure is needed to establish a successful special needs community. So now we're talking about the advocacy. Of course, it needs a voice still, but I'm saying when you think through what the end game looks like, it gives you a clear map to begin to put the policies in place. What are your thoughts on that, people? Just give me what are your thoughts on that? Because we can't, first of all, we have to show the world that special needs has value. Okay, so what is the equation of the value that special needs bring to a community? So could you imagine if you had a seminar where you had all these special needs people that have created different things that our society uses?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the picture, because right now there's a principle that I believe in all marketing and business stuff. Okay, it's 1 John 1:1. That which we have heard, they got to hear it first.
Yes.
That we have seen, that's what we have looked upon, and then our hands have handled the word of life.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Soko, you have created. Now we got to create what they see.
Yeah.
Got to see it, and that's what the culture of honor.
That's, yeah, I was just going to say, we have to keep that honor going with everything we do too.
100%. So the world can see this is a guy singing as a rapper with no jaw. This guy climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. This one did blah, blah, blah. So now what happens, you have words, they can see the image, and then you have them look at it, and then we say, great, this is what our community is about. So I would like our call next month. Let's do another one and establish what is a good what does a good community for special needs look like? What's the infrastructure? What are we doing? What's the proactive, not the reactive strategy?
Yes.
Come on, somebody. Can I get an amen or a up on the screen?
Yes.
Dr. Lococo, first of all, I have to thank you for this great talk. This talk has been enlightening. This talk has struck a fire in me because as a king, I will advocate for this. Like Princess Di had her war, the people that like lost limbs in war. This will become a cause in our kingdom.
Yes.
So now we move this around the globe.
Amen. I'm ready.
Oh, man.
Let's go, team.
Is everyone in with us for another call?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes.
Dr. Lococo, I want to thank you. Dr. Patrick, thank you for the intellectual wisdom that all of us are differently abled. I love the fact. So it's not, so that's a whole subset. That's another conversation. Dr. Jacora, we're going to have, as a matter of fact, on our next show, we'll do her doctorate. When you're here with us, we'll do your honorary doctorate for this. Then, Dr. Coco, what I want to do within the next 6 months, I want to be able to establish these individuals as faith-based experts for special needs.
Okay.
You're in agreement, Coco?
Yes, I am. And also keep your eyes open for the special needs honor.
Yes. If you see people you want to honor, hey, Dr. Coco, I want to start. If you see something, say something.
Yeah. You see something, say something.
Hey.
Go ahead and say something, and we'll put them on the map. And we want to thank you all for your time. It's been 1 hour and 45 minutes. Thank you. We hope
Thank you, guys.
enlightening for you.
Thank you for having me.
Dr. Lococo, over to you for the close.
Thank you. I want to thank you all for being here today, the time that you spent with us. It's going to produce great, great things around the world. I know it. So hang with me and let's build this model together. Amen.
Thank you, and God bless you all.
All right.
Amen.
God bless you
Bless
all.
everyone.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
God bless you
Thank
all.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.